Hi, today teardown and review of this vintage calculator I found at the thrift store for €10 if I remember correctly. So it is an Adler 1204P. It is a paper output only calculator. As you can see, pretty huge desktop calculator with very yellow bottom case. So Adler was a German brand, but this calculator was made in Japan, so it looks like probably Toshiba or something like some company like this made this. The serial number is on a plate here on the printer part. It is quite interesting. On the bottom we have the regular warning about electric shock. So I will first power it on and load paper and try to demonstrate it as far as I can. It is missing one button here, sadly. So it is a regular IEC plug. If this must be the power switch. Yes, the green light turns on here. There is a red light for constant here. It makes a very clicky noise. And maybe you will not see, but there is the drum here is turning is permanently turning, and takes a very long time to spin down. So in fact, the way the printer works, you have a drum with numbers, and there are little hammers hammering at the correct time the ink ribbon against the paper. As you can see, we have the numbers, a row of identical numbers in fact. I will try to zoom in on it later. So for loading the paper, I have a roll of paper here from another calculator. Luckily enough, it seems to be the correct size. So I have to power it on to stuff the paper in there. And there is a paper advance button here, it seems. But this thing is quite a pain to load in fact. It does not want to cooperate very well. Maybe I need to cut the paper in this kind of shape. So I'm not sure I will be able to load it. Maybe the paper is too thin also. It's really weird. Maybe I have to do it with power off also. There is nothing else I can lift here. Does not look like it is the case. This moves a little bit. So maybe I have to do this. Excuse me for my arm in the way. So if I cannot stuff the paper inside, I will not be able to demonstrate the thing. No. And now it is just falling in parts. So not very interesting. Sorry. Maybe I can try to double the weight of the paper. Maybe it will be better. If not, I will not continue. Try further because here we are. It seems yes. Okay. No. As it is done, we can try it. So like so. So if I enter, so there are a lot of functions I do not know about. There is the floating comma thing here. the degrees of the comma, the main keyboard, and somewhere the symbols on the keys. So if I do 1, 2, 3 plus, it does nothing. Great. Reset. Ah. Maybe it is not working correctly, in fact. I believe you have there is not, no, there is a division sign here, there is a plus and minus, but it does not react to my enter what I type. It does nothing, in fact. So maybe it is partly defective, not sure. Okay, so it will be enough. Let's open this thing and see what there is inside. When the printer will have indeed making its thing. So we will see if we find any dead code. I think it must be something around 1970 to 1975, something like this. But we will see probably inside. So first the detail about the printer. Here is the drum with all the numbers, the little hammers, and the roll of ink roll. Regular typing machine ink roll. There was a whole deal in Italy about the writing machines and calculators ink rolls because there was a monopoly owned by Olivetti company, and it was almost illegal to import ink rolls from other countries and break the monopoly. It was quite exclusivity for Olivetti company, probably some political stuff behind this. So here is the printer. We can see we can access to the printer but to nothing else. If I turn around the calculator, it is fun to see this side is clean and this side is completely yellowed. So I have screws to undo. 4 screws. It will be very fast, and they are regular Japanese ISO screws, the same one you could find onto stereo equipment, for example. So this is interesting. We put them aside, and with this calculator, in fact, it is quite uncommon. It is the bottom cover that goes off and everything remains on the top cover, like so. So we have nothing in the bottom cover, so not interesting to show you. And here is all the stuff. So we have the electronics here, keyboard behind, easy to fast release connectors here, card head connectors. And in this part we have a printer and power supply. So first I will undo the electronics. So it is well made because you can see you have just to loosen the screws here and you are able to remove the electronics, the main PCB. But if I remember correctly, there is a wire in the way somewhere. So here we are. I have to undo these 2 card edge connectors. Maybe they are not making correctly contact. So maybe they are the issue. And yes, there is another connector here at the bottom for the keyboard. And here we are. So we have a keyboard with, it is a regular keyboard with read switches, magnetic switches. Here are the other keys for the functions. The slider buttons here. On main switch here. Going to the power supply. Ground cable here also. So here are the electronics. So we have quite a few interesting things, as you can see, because we have old school Japanese components. These capacitors first, very big axial capacitors. And we have Hitachi, it is all Hitachi ICs. As you can see, we have two of them here in a weird packages, free even. There is this thing also. So here we have FD1018 Hitachi chip. At the back side we can see it is regular dual inline chip. Here we have a General GH4002 chip with it has 6 contacts, 4 on this side and 2 on this side. Over where the modules here, seems they are bridge rectifiers for the power supply. They are written SIRB. And the little logo here looks like we have the same logo here on this power transistor. Like two diodes facing one another in a circle. We have a Toshiba QSD something transistor here. Aluminium heatsink. Fuses. And the other parts are just regular stuff. You can see the nice card edge connector here for the keyboard. And the rails on the side. And I have no date code on this thing on any part. Quite weird. Maybe these are date codes. 3K4, 3G2, but you cannot read them. Or here maybe, excuse me. 1973 November. Okay. So here is the main PCB. You can see the screws here for the card edge connector are soldered on the PCB. It is interesting. Now I will try to undo the power supply and printer part and flip it like this. But there is some screws to undo. You can see here the badly rusted parts. On this screw, and you must use a time lag fuse in this nice fuse holder. Also we have a mains voltage selector here. So I will undo these 6 screws at the bottom and I will be back. So here we are. I did also remove the screws for the printer because I want to see why it is rusted and what is the issue. If it is too bad, maybe this thing will not go back together. So here it is quite delicate. So the power supply in fact is pretty straightforward. You can see just a transformer here with the back of a fuse holder. Nice grounding point here. As you can see with 4 grounding wires going to there, to it. Here at the bottom. And about this printer, I guess I can remove it completely. Yes, like so, trying not to put my fingers on the thing, the ink. Here is the bottom side of it. So we have the little hammers with springs. We have little PCB here and here also. Looks like we have a motor here, but it is interesting, so I will undo this grounding wire and we will have a better look at it. So I have no clue why there is rust at the level of these screws here. I was afraid something did leak from the printer, but not. So I put this on the side. And here we are with the printer alone. So we have a better look at it, like so. So by the way, the ink is completely dry. As you can see, I can put my fingers on it. And I have no ink on my fingers. So on this side here, patents applied for in principal countries of the world by Showa Seikosha Company. So yes, the printer is made by Seikosha. Now it is, I think it is a different brand, but in the 80s it was the main printer manufacturer, I believe. They made a lot of pretty serious dot matrix printers for computing, and it was one of the leading manufacturers back in the time. Also electrical writing machines, I guess, and things like this. So it is interesting. Look, here we have what seems to be the motor. It is a flat motor with flat coils, as you could find in almost anything in that. Diskette drive, hard disk, VCR, with probably 2 driver transistors here. So it is unexpected. I was expected to find a regular DC motor, but not. Here we have 2 solenoids, probably for making the paper advance, because they are quite beefy ones. And all these wires here go to the, probably, yes, here at the back. I can guess they are the solenoids for all the little hammers. One for each hammer. Some brass plate here. Testing. More rust. And apart from that, it is almost everything we can see. So maybe a close-up for you on the drum with the numbers. We will not be able to see all the numbers, but at least you can get the idea. We have a row of identical numbers and some symbols at the end. Some mechanical stuff here for making the ink rolls turn. Smaller coils here, it seems, solenoids. Maybe not, in fact, because they are shielded wires. And this thing looked like a cassette recorder heads, which is quite weird. So we have a serial number here written on a sticker that probably will not match the other serial number of the printer, of the calculator. So it is interesting. So as we are in macro mode, close up for you on the weird ICs on the PCB, and also on the weird bridge rectifiers. I was expecting to find ceramic ICs in this thing, but not, sadly. Back side of it. And what else do we have? So I will not bother taking apart the keyboard. You can see here the transformer and the keyboard with the just read switches. Everything is labeled made in Japan, of course. So here we are. So for now I will put back this together, but if I happen to find some more interesting calculator as Nixie tube calculator, for example, a nice sharp compact or something like this, I will probably get rid of this one because I cannot keep everything. So either I will sell it on eBay or I will take it apart, not sure yet. So for now I will reassemble it and it will go back in storage. Thanks for watching.